getting to number 26. I'm stressed. It's really been, one of those days from hell. What to do is total shit. I woke up this morning with a steaming bad headache. Just got rid of the previous one, by the way. Ran for about 2 weeks solid. And I've got another one today. And of course, whenever you've got a really bad headache, I can guarantee that the world will be at its most noisiest. So that's what basically happened today. Got a really nice contract in for a toy manufacturer. It's not a difficult job. To be honest, it's pretty damn easy. I've got a pretty amazing deadline. Now you see, if it had just been the modelling, rendering, blah 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 blah, getting something ready and photorealistic before Friday, not a problem. It's the fact that I've also got to render out a certain bit of animation and render it out before Friday. Now you see, that's not too bad either. Apart from the fact at the moment, this is just this single thing in the scene without any motion blur or anything else. It's running at about 5 to 7 minutes a frame, and this is not full size. That's only a 400 pixel square test render. The final renders have got to be HD, which is big, right? Big means to me more prone to crashes, ties up your PC for days on end, day and night. You've got to daisy chain every bloody PC of every person you know, and you might still be lucky to beat the deadline. So I want to pull a few favours in here with a bit more rendering power. So that's basically what's happening on the work front. Apart from that one, I've got one old contract. Well, as far as I know, it's wound up now. I haven't heard anything else to say that it isn't wound up, so that's good. I'm keeping things sort of quiet work-wise, because I've got a lot of sort of work to do before we start even thinking about moving house. I want to get rid of as much of the stuff out of the house as I can that is there just because it's there, if you know what I mean. I want to get rid of I suppose junk really. It's not really junk, but you know what I mean. I want to get rid of the stuff I don't need. And it catches me, get rid of any broken toys or canes, so I don't have to cart more stuff around. Now I finally got my arse into gear about this whole proper sculpting lock. But, as is typical of me, at the very last moment, I had to change my mind. Now, I've rattled on for bloody ages on these things about getting back into clay sculpting. Why? Well, I used to do clay sculpting, dropped it, I explained the reasons before. I sort of fancied picking traditional sculpting back up again. I started realising, well, you see with polymer clays like super sculpting, and even sort of other ones, you've got the options, you know what I mean, like Chavan and water-based clays, they've all got to have, armatures, which is basically just basic metal skeletons. Now I'm not king of DIY, right? I can do it, but I'd rather bloody not. And to me that's the boring bit. That's the equivalent of doing a 40,000 poly base mesh by hand, right? By 5 minutes. So it's boring, it's shit, I don't really like it, right? So, I discovered something else that I'd always discounted, and I'll explain my reasons. And that was, there's this thing out that you can get a hold of, and it's probably the oldest sculpting medium of the lot, apart from, the earth on the ground, is sculpting wax. Now, the reason up till now I've never touched it is it either came in one of two sorts. There was either stuff that was really just like very runny plasticine and a nightmare to work with, or you had, and obviously you couldn't get detail with that, or you had the very hard wax, which was, again, it was difficult to block out your forms because it was so bloody hard. It was like working with a block of ice, easy to chip and stuff like that. Now this is years ago, so now somebody has just brought out a very special sculpting wax that does both. It's rather magical. It's by Willow Productions. Just put an order in today for a couple of kilos. And while it has the properties of both, right, the interesting thing is I could put a lump of this in my hand and it'll turn like super sculpting, right? It'll be nice and sort of squidgy and you can work with it, right? Block out your forms. But you leave it a little while and it turns into really hard wax, right? Sort of thing it drop from 6 meters up onto the floor and it will not break or sort of dint or anything, right? And you can scratch lots of very fine detail into it. And Should you think, well, I don't like that bit, you can actually re-warm it up with your hands or a hairdryer and then redo it again. Perfect for me. Doesn't need an armature, it's as hard as bloody nails. Yep, thought I'm on some of that, so I've ordered some of that today. It's got to come from America, because they're an American company. When I'm saying a company, so it's like a couple of, you know, like couple that do this, that make this stuff. And it is like art the way they've done it, you know what I mean? It's got the best of both worlds. It comes in a nice grey colour, so you don't have to worry about having a wine red or pink monster or whatever if you're doing something like that, you know. So it's great. I'll let you know once I get a hold of it. Probably takes us a week or two to get from the States at least. Once I've had a chance to mess around with it, you know, I'll stick a couple of videos or something up if it turns out to be something. I'll give you a bit of a review of it. But so far, everybody that's tried it thinks it's a dog's bollocks. Let's have a look at the time. Right. Oh, I'm out of breath. Really must cut down on the cigarettes. Yes, so I also started to replace my sculpting tools. Now you see, this was the interesting bit. Because this wax has got the properties of both a polymer clay and a hard wax, which bloody tools do you use? So I had to get some wax tools. So I didn't have any, well, I haven't got any tools, you know, but I've never had any wax tools, so I had to get a selection of those, right? And I've ordered those, a set of 10 or something. And also had to get some more clay tools while I was on. I'll have to flesh this out a little bit because there's not really enough there to do what I need to do. But it'll be enough to mess around with and get some decent stuff out. I'm really looking forward to it. See, this is going to be my hobby. You think, well, wait a minute, you've got 3D, that's a hobby, isn't it? Yeah, well, that's became work. See, there's times when I don't want to model, right, when you're having an off day, like today, but you've got to sit down and model. You've got to get your bloody arse into gear and get something decent out, right? I'll just have to take my jacket off. I hope you understand here, but I'm very, very hot. Oh. So, yeah. I can't remember what I was talking about now. But yeah, so when you don't want to work, when you got to, it sort of takes the fun out of it a bit. But there are times, right, when you just want to chill and do some art. Oh yeah, you can draw and stuff, but I like working in 3 dimensions. So for me, doing some proper sculpting, that's walking in the fucking park, right? It's great. It means I can just sit down on a night, on a weekend or whenever, and do myself a sculpt of whatever, right? There's no pressure from being Wayne Robson digital sculptor. You know, Wayne Robson has got this and done this and done that, and, you know, I've got no pressure. I'm back to the beginning. I am back to square one. I'm an unknown in that field. Nobody knows who the hell I am. Unless they also cross over the digital side. I've got no pressure. I don't have to worry about, you know, having to research techniques and stuff like that. Basically, I can ask questions, I can do it all. Basically, it's back to square one. It's like a bloody holiday for me, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not telling you where I'm going to be hanging out, sort of forum-wise. You may see some of the sculpts on conceptart.org, you may not. Obviously, eventually I'll post it on Sub D, but I'll be hanging out somewhere else with some serious sculptors. Because it's weird, because the digital side is very, very similar to the traditional side, and but the digital side gives more respect to the clear side, the traditional side, than the other way around. Because everybody thinks, oh, that's just fucking easy, that is, right? So it'll be interesting to be on the other side of the fence and sort of be the piggy in the middle. See what time we've got. Oh, another minute. And I'll try and do part 2. I've just put video 100th YouTube video up today. It was a special one. It's only on YouTube. I'm not putting it on the desktop blog or anything like that. If you're interested, have a look at this. It's just something a bit different. Using my normal camera, right? Not this bloody mobile. Now, call me silly, but I don't really want to bring my expensive camera out when it's night time in the country lanes of County Durham, the Derwent Valley, near Langley Park. You know, at the risk of somebody saying, what's that not to do with a very expensive camera on his own? You know, it'll be dark by the time I get home. So it just seemed like a really good idea to leave that in the house, you know. Seeing that, my life would probably come to an end if this phone vanished, because it's got just about every contact in the world. But yes, anyway, I'll have to go.